Hello and welcome. It is the 14th day of February 2020. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades of the like. Well, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. And I'm going to start off with a few ratio pair crosses. And then I'm going to go. I'm not going to show Bitcoin because it's not really doing much, just holding in there. Although it does have a good hourly time frame. So maybe I'll show that, I suppose. I'll show it quickly after this. Take a look at Theta. Hbar and GRS. So then, let's get started. 26. This is the 8-hour time frame for Tezos against Theta. So the ratio got to the point where you would need 26 Theta for 1 Tezos, and that was a couple mornings ago. As early as even, I guess, suppose last night, it's down to 17 and change. Now up to 22.8. Earlier, about a month ago, the ratio was 12, so it did better than double. Daily chart. I mean, I guess it was even as low as 7, 8, we'll say. And that's how it goes. So the ratio has its moves, and I like doing this. It's just fun to trade it this way, and it's a way of increasing my ownership. For information on how to do this and what I do, all the links for different strategies are in the more information box, and pretty much practically every video that I put in, because it's just I just automatically set it in and I don't type it in, and it's set in by default that way. So if you're ever looking for it and you remember, oh yeah, just whatever video you're watching, you're gonna see it on there. Okay, so that's Tezos and Theta. Ripple and Theta, a different one. Just these up and down shot moves. That's what I'm looking for. I like it. And volatility, of course, hasn't been the greatest, but I think we're getting an increase and run. I mentioned in the last video why I think with the Bitcoin dominance, where we could be setting up for a good multi-month bull market run. I hope we really are, but that's what the setups look. Market's, of course, going to do what it's going to do, but the setup still looks pretty good. Nonetheless, when you're looking at the trading for me, okay, this was like 2.2, then it goes down to like 1.86. Ripple and Theta have been really unvolatile lately, so it hasn't been a very good one. Unlike, say, Bitcoin Cash and Theta's been pretty good. I mean, at least for Bitcoin Cash being one that's not as volatile. But, this was 7,300 way back when in 2018. And, well, that was like a year and a half ago. But even as early as about a year ago, this went down as low as 800 and up to 3,500. I mean, traditional markets don't give you this kind of volatility. You're not going to get this on the yen and the euro or the dollar or whatever. That's not how it goes. As far as that of Theta and Hbar hash graph, on its daily, when Hbar entered the market at the end of September, this was basically 2 ratio. And then with the combination of Theta doing okay, but no, mainly Hbar selling off, the ratio rallies up to 10. That's about a 5x, maybe 4.5. And then we've seen this fall from not only the high January levels, and it resists here January 28th, but most certainly from February the 11th, 3 days ago. We're going from 11 and then breaking down from 6.8. It broke down to like 1.6. Now it's almost doubled it back. It's up to 2.8. I mean, when we look at the landslide of where these things have the potential to go, and I have to draw it in so it's in the middle like this, what's to say that we can't see prices go and even do stuff like that? It's been sick. And in history, that is. Now, when I say it's been sick, I'm thinking of like DGB versus like LITECOIN in the past. I suppose if you ever had an opportunity to like just see, I can show it, just how it would look. That's just and it's. I like to put the most expensive coin first, just because then I get a positive number over 0. I mean, they're always positive, but number greater than 0. So this ratio is 284 in the daily. Oh, it's breaking out. Mona's kicking ass right now over it. We can see from 2020, this ratio went from 220 to 280. Oh, but what does the weekly chart show us in here? A ratio went from like 22.25 to 5. And then it rallies up to 45, down to 19, up to 1,000, down to 67, straight down to 67, pretty much too. And then 67 with a very small lower high rally to 180. I mean, all you do is triple there. Come on, not even. Like 2.7x. That's nothing. And then go from 170x down, or 170 down to 33. So that's like a 5x loss. How are you? And then since this 33 low, it's up about 8 times or so. Maybe closer to 9. 8.5 maybe. Whatever. It's that volatility that comes within this game. Let's take a look at Theta next against Bitcoin. And on the weekly, just these moves in here, like this one-day move, this several week move, buy low, sell high strategies working really well. I know I got the lines kind of in play here, but when you can see here the downtrend, how price action has been sticking, band flattening out, and how we've reacted on this 2-week, 3-week even rally from this week, and this week up to the previous high of 1551 area, and how it's been holding this area of support, 18 average of lows newly rising, how this week is exitation of the 18 average of highs newly rising. This is just a phenomenal situational setup. Anyway, with that being said, just you can ignore everything I said about that, play it, use it for what you will, or you can dissect it and change my words into however. Although making my ideas your own, I highly recommend within these videos. With that being said, we can see here on the daily chart how it's gotten above it. So really holding in within these areas. These Fibonacci levels technically can almost be removed to a degree. Because now what do? I can use it for maybe this level here. And 930 is a low there, but I actually put in 916 because that was the lows before, as if the numbers would change. 1386 is what I came up with in 1528. So within all of that, 1528, what has 1528 done? I'm not going to... Yeah, I'll draw... Well, let's... Yeah, I'll draw the lines in it. That's just luck, the fact that it comes down to pretty much exactly. And now how do we see after it rallied from it on this high? Well, it comes up in here, and well, this was an interesting failed break. Because I talked about this last night, how I thought this was going to go up. And well, if you take a look at this on the 15-minute time frame, you'll even see it more clearly. And this is just deja vu of what I remember from my rookie days of trading. And rookie days of trading is over a decade ago, but barely. And that's when I'd see this, okay, and I didn't use the 18 average of highs and lows like this, but a setup being good is what I'm referring to. Oh, the setup looks good. Let's go long on Theta. You're seeing it like 1679, yada, and it's going to be great. Well, it's at 1509 now. It's not as great. It's in fact, you're down about close to 10%. Anyway, I realized back then that whenever good setup, and I don't know how good my setups were when I traded back then, but I do know for sure that a good setup, when it fails and it doesn't manifest itself through, oh, the moves in the opposite direction could be kind of nasty. So what's happened since, because as we can see here, after this high, it comes up and it has this attempt in here. It successfully corrects within it. And as it leaves this is a telltale sign after this successful correctionary move, that it was most likely going to break this resistance. Now, whether we resist first and come back and break it, or it just breaks it immediately, it could go either way. But we resisted this level. It didn't have to pierce below this, pierce above this, so in that area. Now the must-hold area is at around 1635-ish, 16 and a quarter. And we can see when it comes down to it that it holds it for a bit, but after the holding it through time, it doesn't go up, it goes down, and it continues to resist within that level. And since then, of course, it's been lower highs, lower lows. Another reset of this Fibonacci level that it tested here. And the first time it spent no time, or basically almost no time at the number and little time in the area. Now it spent more time at the area, at that number, and all of its time at the area. We can see that it resisted at 1585, which was the area of the support. And then this level of resistance at 7:30ish in the morning or so is the congestion area in here. And since it's lifted off below that, it's showing to me a lot of weakness. It's showing resistance on the 1528 mark. So because of that, that's telling me we're probably got a good chance of heading down to the next price level of 1,386. And I know I put these lines, and it's just luck when I put it in, it seems, but it's just what it is. Let's go ahead and put 1386. I put lines on Hbar, and it's just luck that it's working on those lines too, but we'll get to that in a bit. 1183 is after that. And I don't know if we'll go to 1183 or not. Really, that to be is most certainly in the area of where the must-hold area would be. Close enough. So that is Theta. We'll see if it makes a move down to the 1386. Let's move on next to Hbar. And the reason I play this is because I think it's got expectedly amazing volatility because it's like a not as known one. It's got lower market share. So those bigger X moves, it's not going to do what LITECOIN does. LITECOIN's got a big move if it can go up 40% in a day. But this, when you're talking about the ones that just have like the 20x, 400x type of moves, you're not going to get that from the high staples. And then the ones I think that will work better in ratio trading are coins like this. Now, of course, because I've been a big fan of Mike Maloney, and he thinks a lot in the same realms as I do as it is anyway, that he talked about it in his 10 Secrets of Money 8 video. When I seen it was available, I'm like, I got to have it. So I pair trade this, ratio trade this against many different other coins. 5 other ones. With that being said, 2 amazing days up, newly rising 18. This is 23.6 down. This is 38.2% down. Hourly time frame. It was only luck that it just hit this support and had a good move from there. And then it comes back down the next time, was piercing above but not doing much, and then concisely breaking below. And then luckily it bottomed pretty much at exactly 477, and it rallied from there, and it luckily rallied to the previous support Fibonacci level, barely piercing above 581. It is now since then retraced into correctionary mode, which is a 50% retracement pretty much between these 2 points, but more importantly it's in this sideways movement. The more often support resistance is tested, the more likely it's taken out. Regardless of which band size it takes, high or lows, it's going to be a test that it could probably easily break it out. Meaning, if it gets above the highs from here, you can get above 581, then this thing is in full-fledged opportunity for who knows how much of a full-blown bull market we could be going to. On the other end, if we go down, we're going to be at a support area of 477. Maybe it's support, but I'm not going to like its chances too much, and my nice price down target is 347. Okay, let's move on to GRS, Grosscoin against Bitcoin. I like log scales, and this is log scale, but it's not a proper one, because then you look at these low ends, and they don't look right then how you look at the top. Thankfully, with the upgrade on my trading view, I can do this, and it will multiply and will fix the scaling. Oh, that looks a little bit different. When I say a little bit, I mean a lot. Okay, so this is the pricing in Satoshi on the GRS. Furthermore, the coin market cap, they have line charts. If you put the logarithmic scale on there, it is phenomenally on their page. So you don't have to go and pay for an extra service just because you want charts that, to me, this looks better. We can see its run that it had. In 2016, it had a low at the start of the year at like 115 Satoshi. And then we had several hits near about the near 19,000. 4 of them. And several higher lows that were encountered along the way. And then there's the matching low, another matching low, and we've had this. And that's been the trend since the 2017 move. So since it has managed to go below the 18 lows, and that was back in August of 2017, at least via the weekly, it managed to resist it back again below. Then it has an attempt to break above it and make new highs. It matches unable. And here's your failed breakout attempt. Not as much of a down move, but still another failed breakout attempt. It got above it, but not doing so well in holding this. Then we had this phenomenal move in here where just for that period, 61.8%, that's a Fibonacci number. I find that interesting. But anyway, just I guess it's, what's the word they use? It's a coincidence, I guess, that one is the case. But it's been ultimately failing since then. It breaks down below the 18 average of lows in May of 2019 after the April Fool's rally. And then straight down pretty much. Not even all it did within this correctionary move. It broke down from this level here in June. It had a price rally from that of about 23 change up to almost 38, meeting up with a severely declining 18 lows for pretty much the first time and resisting it and falling rapidly from it. We can see from the start of the autumn solstice, September of 20 last year. That's a way of saying it, 20 last year. Okay, anyway, I hope I don't get used to saying that all the time because I can say that for the rest of my life. Anyway, from 20 last year, we had sideways neutral consolidation. We're still in it. Resistance is about 28 high change. Support is at about 18 change. And getting it above this, you've seen what these things can do. They can just be phenomenal moves, especially when you get stuff like this that could come into play. Let's take a look at this on the daily chart. But to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and put the Binance one in. That's DGB. Which is basically, I mean, we can see here just how the log scale, it's like, yeah, that just doesn't look good on this. Well, if I go like this, 3, 4. See, I mean, they look so much different. I might as well keep it at this for the rest of the way. But I'm on Bittrex. Anyway. Let's go on, because it's the daily chart that I want to look at, which is the one that's important. And then when I go shorter term, like hourly, I'd just rather this market than Bittrex because it's a more liquid market. This is a beautiful setup, I think. It's my opinion. Your risk, your reward. I'm taking the risk reward because I actually bought a decent amount of this, not only a few hours ago, but even yesterday as well. More so today than yesterday. So there's your sideways consolidation. And even within Binance, I've been thinking about this for quite some time. Notice what's going on here. There's all of this buying and these price coming back intraday. This has been going on for quite some time. Two ways of profiting on it. One, the easiest one is your sell orders. Just have your sell orders ready to go. And then when they come back, you just execute the buy. Because if you figure in this, if you have your sell orders ready, I mean, you have to hit. You might not hit. You might have your sell orders higher than where they were. But you come back, you buy. Next day here, oh, you trade again. And maybe you have buy orders here again, but still. You have this day. You sell, you buy it back, maybe at 24.85. The next day, here, same thing. Maybe this one hits, maybe it doesn't. And then, of course, all of these in here. Just something of note. But as it goes, I like how when we see the from this last correctionary move, we came up to, and I'm gonna want to just draw a line. I'm not good at this. Close enough. Let's go to the hourly time frame. So that line that I drew in represents the 18 average of highs on the daily term time frame. It's been having this long-standing battle with it since we got there on February the 4th, 10 days ago. So we resist this area, and we could basically even put like a little range box. We can see we had an interesting level of resistance here. And the most upper end was the high that I first established where we're at now. Okay. This to me looks spectacular. So now that it gets above this, you figure, I'd like to see when you have this hold and stay above it for a while. Well, not only has it held and stayed above that 2400 area, but it hasn't supported it. No. It's supporting this area here, like the resistance from this point, these resistance highs. So I like how this has been doing this little situation here. Then we have this breakout on the 4 o'clock in the morning today. It comes up, hits this level of resistance, and you can see it's pretty much this level of resistance here and over these few periods here is now supporting it over the last like 5, 6. The setup here to me is looking very, very phenomenal for GRS. So I bought a bunch more, and I've decided to have this ratio traded against that of Theta. I already have extra Theta just laying around as it is anyway, so I just cross those extra ones for the GRS coin. And its ratio, well, before, back in 2018, it was 4, rallies up to close to 10, comes back down a few times here, like 1 2/3, and that's where it is now. Rallies up to 4 and change, and well, 1 2/3. So we'll see how this one goes. If this goes up, that's because GRS would be winning, and this thing could go down to 0.1, 0.2. This thing can go up to 20. That's how sick this ratio trading game can actually be. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.